Welcome to the Keep Going podcast. We got a special treat all the way from the Middle East. Paco! What's up, man? How you doing?
Man? How you doing, man?
Hey, legend right here. So he's the owner of Live Out for this beautiful gym we're in right now. So blessed to have you on. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Sweetness, man. All right, it's good vibes all around in this gym. You can tell just by what he's done here. So if you can get a quick peek, you can kind of see around how nice everything is, the flow of the gym, the music, good vibes, all the trainers in here. So kind of getting into that, what kind of got you started on your health and wellness journey, and where did that evolve from?
Yeah, so, growing up, I was always this skinny, insecure, kid. I was an ectomorph, so I was extremely skinny. So for me, it was just always, I was never confident in myself. It was just, I just didn't like the way I looked. So I was like, all right, I gotta start, putting some muscle on, get in the gym, starting to feel more confident.
Was there a turning point? Like when you had this crush on a girl in 4th grade and you're like, oh, dude, I'm skinny and weak. I need to get back in the gym or do something with the gym to go impress her or whatever the case may be.
Honestly, not really. It was just I wanted to be strong. I used to look at all these, TV celebrities. I'm like, I want to look like that. I just hated the way I looked.
Yeah, man.
So that kind of just, I'm like, all right, I got to start somewhere.
Right.
So that's when I started taking it seriously at the age of 18, right when I first got to America. I graduated high school from Europe and Ireland, and the day I graduated, I flew out to America.
Nice.
And that's kind of when all my fitness journey started.
Whoa. You said Ireland, dude. Wait, so you grew up in the Middle East?
Yes.
Then what? Kind of give us a little background story of how you grew up.
Yeah, so I grew up in Middle East. I was there, I was raised by a single mother.
Wow.
She's like my rock. I owe my whole life to her.
Right.
I grew up in the Middle East, and then at the age of 16, I was the schooling in Middle East kind of sucked for me. I was failing, school. I'm like, all right, there's no way I'm gonna pass high school if I stay here. So I kind of, asked my mom, hey, would you be willing to let me, finish my high school in Europe? So she supports me in whatever I want to do. So she kind of agreed to it. So she let me go to Ireland. It was all Catholic boarding school where we had to every Sunday we had to attend mass, wearing our uniforms. It was it was like being in the army. It was extremely strict, but it's exactly what I needed. I had the time of my life there.
Yeah.
So 2 years from 16 to 18, I was in Ireland, graduated high school there, and then I flew out to America, California at the age of 18, and that's when all this started.
Welcome to America, right?
Appreciate it.
But what I was gonna say is, you said we were just talking about how we shouldn't talk about feelings, but you brought up your mom. Your mom's your rock. Why is she your rock?
Growing up, my dad was never really in the picture. She literally worked 12-hour days, to provide for me and my sister. And just, I owe my life to her. I wouldn't be alive today because of her. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her.
She did anything she could just for you, okay.
What
was the biggest lesson she taught you that you would have to say?
To just, just go after whatever it is that you want in life, you don't have to follow all the rules. You don't have to, she was always supportive. I hated school. I was like, that's not the route. I would kill myself if I had to go to college, and it just wasn't for me. I was like, I have to figure out a way.
Yeah.
So that's what she told me. Just always, believed in me and just go after what you want in life.
And so that way was literally flying to California after you graduated. And then what'd you do once you landed in California?
So once I landed in California, I was, at first I tried going to, college. I was maybe in college for 3 months, and that's when I'm like, nah, school is just making me feel like I'm stupid. It's just not for me. So, and I had already started working out, and then I heard that there's one of the top coaches in the entire world his gym is like 5 minutes down the street from where I lived.
Yeah.
And there's people driving 2-3 hours to come train with this man, and he's right like 5 minutes from me. So everybody, kept telling me, hey, you have good. I always had good genetics. Like I was like, lean and vascular. So that's kind of how it started. Somebody, a lot of people told me, hey, you should go check out this gym, Team Zero Gravity, Ryan Benson. He's 5 minutes down the street. You should compete. I'm like, I didn't even know what competitions were. Yeah. But after I started looking all the athletes he was coaching, I'm like, oh shit, these guys are superheroes. Right. Like straight up, like Olympians. Like he was at the top of his game. So I was like, all right, let's go check it out. Let's see what it's all about. Because I was, already into fitness and bodybuilding. So I went into his gym randomly, and I walk in there, and he's like, how old are you? I told him I was 18 years old. He's like, all right, take your shirt off. I was nervous. I'm like, oh shit. So anyways, I take my shirt off. He takes a look at me, and from day one, this man tells me, you're gonna be a pro one day, bro. Let's go. You have one of the craziest genetics I've seen. And he got excited about it. He called over like 3 of his Olympians who were training over there. He's like, yo, check this kid out. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't even know my potential. I'm just a skinny kid trying to make it. Yeah. So he's like, oh no, I see the genetics, your waist. So he saw potential in me way before I saw potential in me. I didn't even know. Right. So right away, he hyped me up. I'm like, all right, cool. Like he's like, you want to show up to training Monday morning? I'm like, say no more, I'm there. Dang, man. So yeah, that's kind of how it started.
So you knew him before you went there, correct?
I knew of him. Yeah. I had done my research on him, and I've seen nothing but like positive things about him. I looked at his Instagram, and he just coaches some of the top Olympians in the world, like best of the best. Right. Yeah.
And then once you kind of saw him, was he like somebody that was a mentor and inspiration for you, or were there people before that?
Absolutely, yeah. He was my very first, I would say mentor. I would say like a father figure. Nice. He kind of, all my success, I give it to him, because if he, I learned everything in fitness through him, whether it's coaching, business. He was always supportive of me from day one.
How do you how important do you think having a mentor is, especially in your space?
I think in any space, you gotta have a mentor, no matter whether it's business, fitness, whatever it is. Like it's the fastest way to success is to learn from somebody who's already where you want to be at.
Exactly, bro.
So a lot of people these days think everything is a scam. Right. Like the biggest scam is college, bro. Like, so it's just having a good mentor can be the fast track to your success.
Right. Well, dude, you bring up college. Like, if you're a doctor, lawyer, or something that's like a special field, go ahead, go to college or whatever. But if you're going in blindfold, you don't know what you want to do. It's kind of a waste of time, money, and energy, right?
Absolutely, yeah. As you said, if you're a doctor, if you know that's all you want to do, we need doctors. So please, go to college. But if you're like, hey, I want to be a businessman, I want to own my businesses, you're just, you're better off getting in the trenches, learning. Getting as close as possible to people who are already where you want to be.
Right, exactly. Just where you want to be. So you get there, you start getting mentored by him, you start building up your physique. Then I know, like, you walk in this gym, you got trophies on trophies on trophies, big fat picture of you looking juicy. But you like that word? But anyways, so you're winning all these awards. How did you get into like winning mindset when you're going up on stage, competing? Like,
good question. Good question. Yeah, so I was always, just the mindset that my coach instilled in me was like, if you don't want to be the best to ever fucking do it, might as well just give up. Right. So every show I did, I would tell my coach, I'm willing to die for this. Like, I don't care what I need to do. Tell me, I will suffer, I will die for this shit. Yeah. So that was just my mentality and everything, everything I did in my life. That's all. I was like, all right, if I want to be the very fucking best to do this. And that's exactly how I did my competition, my entrepreneurship journey. That was just my mindset, you know, and just followed the plan to the T. At that point, you know, I had to work the warehouse. I was working like 2 warehouse jobs. I was still trying to compete, doing my cardio in the morning. So it was just a nonstop hustle, you know.
Dang.
And yeah, 3 years from 18 to 21. By the time I turned 21, I had already turned pro. I was one of the youngest IFBB pros in America.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just nonstop, no parties, no distractions, no girls, just fully locked in on my, you know, purpose.
Oh my gosh. So what would you say was the biggest challenge through all that?
The biggest challenge was obviously, you know, trying to, just the financial part, right?
Yeah.
Competing is not cheap.
Exactly.
So it was like, all right, I gotta, you know, I have to just survive through these tough times right now. But I had the belief in myself, no, one day this is all gonna pay off. I just have to survive for now. So I just did whatever I could to, you know, survive.
Yeah.
Whether I didn't care, I worked warehouse jobs, 9 to 5, whatever I did, whatever I needed to do, I did at that time.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I was talking to a good friend of yours, and he said you're very stoic. And I'm just going to read the definition of what it means to be stoic. A person who can endure pain and hardship without showing their feelings or complaining. And so would you describe that as you?
Absolutely, yeah. I could be, you know, just I don't really care about emotions. Like whatever I need to get done, I get done. Like I could be in a horrible mood, you know, and nobody would even know, you know.
Yeah, and we were literally just talking about, all these people are talking about their feelings, but how important is that to be stoic in today's age to move forward? You got to move the needle forward every single day. Like for you, like you don't even think about how you feel. It's just, I got to get this done so this can happen.
Absolutely, yeah. That's exactly, you know, like regardless of how you feel, you wake up, whether you're, you know, tired, you don't want to go to work, or you don't want to do your cardio, if it needs to get done, it's getting done, no matter how I feel. And that's what really separates some of the most successful people and then all the others that, you know.
Yeah, repeat that one more time, looking at the camera, because I feel like there's a bunch of people that need to hear that right now. What it means to have that stoicism. Yeah, I think so. Thank you, man. That's my cameraman. Give me the head nod. But to be stoic, how important that is nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, you guys have to be completely numb to life. You need to, you know, whatever it is that you need to get done, regardless of how you feel.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one of the most important things if you want to be successful.
And then once you're winning these competitions, you start scaling your personal training too at the same time, right?
So actually, yeah, I didn't start personal training till I turned pro.
Okay.
Right, so I turned pro at 21. And I'm like, all right, I'm a pro. I'm feeling like I'm the man. And I'm not about to work for no boss. So it's funny. At that time I was working at a nutrition store selling supplements.
Okay.
And same thing. My mindset, I'm gonna be the best fucking salesman there is in the, you know. So in my first month working for them, I increased their sales by 75%.
Let's go.
So I'm like killing it for them, you know. You walk in at my store, you walk in wanting one product, I send you out with 5 products.
Yeah. You
know, so I'm getting my commission, I'm killing it.
Yeah.
And I'm still competing, so I'm still jacked. So people actually listen to my advice on what supplements, you know, I recommend. So I'm killing it for them. And then one day, the manager comes up to me and he's like, he was actually my age, but he always was just super jealous of me.
Yeah.
Because I was obviously doing more sales, more commission, I was getting paid. So one day he comes up to me, he's like, all right, Pac, starting next week, I'm gonna have you clean the restrooms, toilets, like scrubbing, all that. I'm like, what? That's not what I got hired for. I was a salesman and that's it.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you have to follow my orders. Tuesday's your day to clean the toilets. Tuesday come, I don't clean the toilets. He comes up to me with the warning letter. He's like, here's your warning letter since you didn't, you know, follow my orders. And I just got so heated up. I took the paper, ripped it in pieces, threw the key on the table, and just dipped. The next day, the owner's calling me, hey, Paco, let's talk. I wasn't aware, you know, that the manager was ask you to do those things. Let's talk. Like, you're a great salesman for us. Like, I love to talk. And, I never responded back to them. And the rest is history. Ever since, the following week, that's how Live Alpha started. My coach offered me to start training clients at his gym. He's like, look, I'll give you a 1 month free rent. Just start building your, clientele, promote. In 1 month, my very first month, I made $12,000. And that's when I was like, wow, all right, this is it.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
Right, man. So you were talking about sales and how you got into that. Let's clip something up for social media right here. What's your number one sales tip?
Number one sales tip is just being confident. You have to be, if you're not confident in whatever it is that you're selling, it's going to show. The customers are going to read right through it. Yeah. So you have to be like so damn confident and know your products in order to scale that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So he mentioned confidence, right? You mentioned confidence. How do you build confidence then?
Repetition. Just get in the trenches. Just do it over and over. 1,000 times, just do it.
Yeah.
Just doing it. That's it.
That's literally it. Not enough people are getting the reps in. They do try it one time, then they fail, and then they're like, oh, I'm never doing this again.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you just kept going, just being the stoic person you are. So then you're doing sales. You're doing really well. You build Live Alpha. But when you're building Live Alpha, what were like the core values that you wanted to have that brand represent? You got trainers under you, you got good clients under you. I'm sure there's a theme of why you built Live Alpha.
Right. I would say the number one thing would really be loyalty. Yeah. I have some trainers here who've been with me for the past 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
Daniel, Brandon, these guys have been so loyal, to the brand, and many more as of, the past few years that I know are never gonna, badmouth me or the brand behind my back. Tomas, he's like the man, like he's been everything for me, like the loyalty he's shown me, the loyalty I've shown him, and the relationship we've built, and many, many more,
Yeah, dude, and I can tell, you bring up Tomas, good example. Every time that dude walks in here, he doesn't care how many people are in here. He goes around and says, good morning, hello, gives you nucks, keeps it going, bro. That's the type of energy. Exactly. But you instilled that. Right?
Absolutely.
You brought the right people around you. Yeah, how important is it to bring the right people around you?
It's everything. You have it, you gotta, your team that you have to all represent. They represent you. They're a reflection of you. We're all like the exact same. Like we're all about loyalty, respect. Like none of us you'll ever hear about, we're cheating on our girlfriends or wives, just because if you can cheat on your girlfriend or wife, then that means you're going to cheat on me and my business. So it's just, we have solid motherfuckers, in this gym and our brand.
Dude, I believe that 100%. If you're willing to break the rules somewhere else, what's the saying? How you do anything is how you do everything.
Absolutely.
Like that's
100%.
That's like
100%.
the key. Yeah. So, you have those core values, then you build that team up, then you build this, what we're in right now. And look how beautiful this is. How did this come to the Live Alpha point?
Yeah, so I was, owning my own gym was always a dream ever since, I started my fitness journey. I was like, one day I'm going to have my own gym, but I'm going to do it right. Again, going back to, I want to be the best to ever do it. So when I said, all right, I'm going to build the baddest fucking gym in that Orange County has ever seen, or else, there's no other way. I'm going to do it right. So I was like, all right, I'm going to have the best equipment. I'm going to have the best lighting. I'm going to have the, it's going to be bougie. It's going to be
best looking
clean.
Trainers.
Best looking trainers. That part.
No, it's beautiful in here. So I literally pinch myself every time I walk in here. So congratulations on building something like this, man.
No, I really do appreciate you saying that. That means a lot.
Yeah, 100%. So you built this, and now you got this going on. What's like the next step for the Live Alpha team and what you got building?
Just keep expanding. My future goals are, obviously have Live Alpha nationwide. This is just the start.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Here's another clip for social media. Why is the gym so important? Why is the gym so important?
Good question. So why I love, the gym, or why I love what I really do the most is, bro, we're fucking saving lives in here.
Yes.
Literally, like, I've had a client who was damn near pre-diabetic, almost 300 pounds, who, I got him to lose over 100 pounds in a matter of 1 year. And he literally, it's never mind changing life. We literally saved this man's life.
Yeah.
So, how can anything be more rewarding than this?
Right, 100%, dude. You changed lives. So sometimes you might even plant seeds under trees you may never sit under just by doing what you do every day, showing up for yourself.
Right, exactly.
But when I look at you, I'm like, dude, this guy's a walking inspiration, right? Got the 22s out, right? And on top of that, but when you started changing lives, you're like, holy shit, this is probably what motivates you and inspires you, I imagine, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's not even about the money.
Right.
It wasn't even about the money anymore. It was like, if I can just keep changing as many lives as possible, God will reward me. And that's.
Let's talk a little bit about that. So you mentioned God. Do you believe in God?
Absolutely, yeah. That's the highest power.
Yeah.
Without God, we wouldn't be breathing right now.
Right. And so, what do you attribute to God? I mean, everything that you've done. Like, what's been did you have a shift, by the way? Did you always believe in God?
I always knew, God was there, but as of, recent, it's been like, man, it's really, God has always been there throughout my entire life. Like I woke up today because of God.
Right. So you live a life full of gratitude.
Absolutely.
What's something that you're currently working on personally? You can think about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Honestly, that part too, I want to just keep building and strengthening my faith with God.
Yeah.
I know I'm not, I don't go by the book. I don't follow everything, but just that'll be the main part, I would say, just strengthening my faith.
Yeah, 100%. So we're talking about a lot of things right now, but I want to know, this is the Keep Going podcast, and the theme is I always want my guests to share, what keeps you going?
What keeps me going? It's just I feel like God put me here for a purpose. Like my purpose right now is bigger than me. I need to spread a positive word, self-development, bring as many people as just the self-improvement is everything. If I could just spread that all over the world, I'll be happy.
That's how you know God is real, because he put you on this planet to inspire other people to do the same thing that you're doing.
Exactly.
Right,
So 100%. That's what I'm working on right now. The past couple weeks I've just been filming, good content, and we're gonna rebrand and get on social media and just spread the word.
Okay, we're gonna do a few more clips for social media. What's your number one tip for fat loss?
Number one tip for fat loss: stop eating so much McDonald's. It's just
half of America, 52% is obese. 52% is obese. So that's your tip for fat loss.
Pretty much.
Okay, here's another one. What's your number one tip to build muscle? Go ahead, look in the camera too.
Eat a lot and train heavy. Eat high quality foods. And just train heavy. Like I was always a skinny kid. So for me to put muscle on was extremely difficult. And I learned that I gotta train as heavy as possible, and I gotta eat a lot.
Yeah, I have a question. I was just pondering this inside my head, dude. You've accomplished so much at a young age. You're still in your 20s, man. And so, like, when you think about that, do you ever have like imposter syndrome, like where you feel like you're not worthy of it, or do you know, hey, all this work I did instilled the worth to get me here to this point?
Yeah, it's funny you say that.
Yeah.
Because I still feel like I wasted years, bro.
Really?
I still feel like I've wasted. I'm like, man, if I knew what I know now, I would have been like way further.
Good point. What would you tell somebody, your younger self, or somebody that's just starting out? What's your first piece of advice for someone like that?
Just lock in, bro. Lock in. Cut out, all the distractions. Drop the vices. Drop the drugs. Drop the alcohol. Stop chasing girls. Just follow your purpose, bro. Like, because you don't even know if you'll be alive tomorrow, bro. So you gotta, urgency is everything. Act fast.
And that's how you live every day. That's why you live with gratitude in your heart. So when you're talking about live with purpose, I want to know how you kind of choose the people you surround yourself with. You know, because you say cut out all the distractions, right? And that's part of living with purpose.
Right.
So how do you choose the people or the relationships in your life around you?
I mean, if they're not benefiting you in a positive way, cut them out. You know, like my friends, everybody were always just nothing but positive. If you have friends who are just, you know, gossip girls, they just want to talk about other people. Like, I don't want to hear that, bro. Keep that hating ass energy out of my life. I don't want to hear that. If you're not just being positive, if you're not just, you know, uplifting, if you're not bringing that kind of energy, I don't want it.
Right. A lot of people need to hear that. And if you're a big energy person, right? And if somebody's got some bad people that they're hanging out with or in their life, what would you recommend for them right now? What should they go do?
Cut them off. Literally.
How do you do it though? How do you do it? Just literally don't talk to them?
It's really not that hard. Hey, I've cut out people without even explaining anything.
But then people will say, well, that's my brother, that's my mom, that's my dad. Like, how do you deal with family members then, cutting them out?
You don't have to cut them out, but you could completely separate yourself, right? Like at the beginning, everybody's gonna laugh at you. You know, whatever, whether it's a business you're trying to start, like everybody's gonna laugh at you until you know make it.
Right.
So your family members are not gonna believe in you. They're gonna tell you to go a different route, and it's just as long as you believe in you, that's all that matters.
Right.
Just make that move. If you need to move cities, if you need to move states, whatever you need to do, you know, just as long as you believe in you, that's all that really matters.
You know what? You're just kind of reminding me of this thing I follow in life called the feeding chain. So people that feed you, you feed them. People that bleed you, you fire them, run the fuck away. And the people that are there, that are just existing, but not really benefiting you, they're just there, you let them fall away. So I call that the feeding chain. That's what I learned from one of my mentors. And I live by that. Because like you said, you don't necessarily need to cut your parents out of your life. But just let them kind of just be there and exist, and you just go do you.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
That's the best, you know, like you don't, again, your mom is not gonna, when you tell your mom, hey, I'm dropping out of college, of course she's gonna think you're crazy, you know? But in the end, as long as you can prove them wrong, that's all that really matters.
Right. And I'm sure you proved a lot of people wrong. And so what's the biggest thing that allowed you to do that? Is there like a lesson or a character or a value that you live by to prove people wrong?
Yeah, it's just the desire, the fire inside you to, you know, just not be average. You know, too many people just want to settle and just survive their 9 to 5, just survive, just paying their rent every single month, and that's about it. There's no bigger purpose, you know. They're just surviving. So you gotta thrive. You gotta, you know, really just set goals and just work every day towards them.
100%, dude. I love that. And then I want to know from you, what's like been your biggest mistake that you've made? We could go business. Biggest mistake you made in business for anybody that wants to avoid that, you know?
Biggest mistake in business. I mean, it's just something, you know, you're gonna learn as you go. You know, there's gonna be, in every business, there's gonna be a lot of problems you're gonna deal with, you know, but it's just kind of overcoming every single problem. Like, for example, during COVID, when COVID happened, I was personal training, all the gyms got shut down. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, am I just gonna sit down and cry about it? Or am I gonna figure a way out? So my gym got shut down where I was training clients during COVID. I'm like, all right, just my mentality again. I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna figure a way out. In 1 week, bro, I had set up my garage gym in my house. I had bought about $30,000 worth of equipment. I filled it up all over my backyard, and my business was still going, you know. It's just overcoming any obstacle life throws at you. It's so important.
Damn, man, you are persistent as hell. So you leverage COVID because you're like, these gyms are shut down. I'm going to open my own gym.
I made more money that month than I did when the gym was open the month prior. Literally, I have pictures I could show you where I had 15, 16 clients at a time in my backyard, and just all of us just training. And so yeah, my business, I never went out of business. Actually, COVID was great.
Yeah. That's amazing to hear, man. But you know, you're building everything around here, this community, this spirit of excellence. I just really want to know, you know, how can people support you and how can I support you?
I mean, just, you know, keep doing you, you know, like so far I absolutely love all our, you know, trainers, staff, clients, everybody's so respectful. And as you know, we don't tolerate bullshit in here. Like we've kicked people out, we've rejected a lot of people. So it's like, as long as, you know, you can be respectful here and, you know, just mind your own business, do your own thing, come make your money like the way you do. You come in, no drama, no nothing, you know, you're more than welcome.
100%. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on so much. But before we sign off, what are the handles people can follow you on? You know, what platforms are you on? Share it with them, please.
Yeah, so you could follow me, my personal page, Paco Official, PACOO_official. And then you can follow my gym at livealpha.pt on Instagram both. I will be starting a YouTube soon, but for now it's just Instagram.
Oh, sweet, dude. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for tuning in to the Keep Going podcast. We really appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. My pleasure, brother.